True, we've lost some giants, they were a credit to the game. But we've also found some young'uns, they promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about, it happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know, we see them give it their best shot. It's whether I'm known or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one, we saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
Good afternoon, welcome to Hilton Park, Leigh. Saints first out on the field, led out by Captain Shane Cooper. For all you with keen ears, here's the Leigh team, led out by Captain Harry Pinner. For today's Stones Bitter League Championship clash. So on behalf of Micron Video, may I welcome you to Hilton Park, Leigh. I'll just go through the teams for you now. Saints first, number 1 Beavers, 2 Ledger, 3 Lachlan, 4 Elia, 5 Tanner, 6 Cooper, 7 Holding, 8 Burke, 9 Groves, 10 Evans, 11 Farber, 12 Haggerty, 13 Arkwright. Saints substitutes today, 14 Bernard Dwyer, 15 John Fieldhouse. The Leigh team, number 1 Chris Johnson, 2 McCulloch, 3 Burrill, 4 Jeffrey, 5 Horrow, 6 Kerr, 7 Phil Johnson, 8 Evans, 9 Dean, 10 Dunn, 11 Mike Holliday, 12 Clark, 13 Harry Pinner, with substitutes for Leigh, number 14 Paddy Tummy Barbie and 15 Ivor Owen. So both captains out there on the centre spot. Today's referee is Mr Simpson. Harry Pinner and Shane Cooper, opposing captains, as we all know, Harry Pinner, ex-Saint and captain of Saints. Harry Pinner tosses the coin. Not a bad day here at Hilton Park. It's the 4th meeting of these two teams this season. Leigh to kick off. Phil Johnson, Leigh's leading goal scorer, comes to kick off. Good crowd here at Hilton Park, and we can expect a full house at Salford for the cup tie next Sunday. And away we go. Phil Johnson kicks off. Kicks it deep, Neil Holding takes it, kicks it back up, giving Leigh possession. Neil McCulloch sprinting through, gathers that ball, sprints through, Kerr on his outside, I think it is, still going, losing his footing, unlucky there Leigh. Well, Saints giving Leigh the ball back, Leigh kicked off, Holding kicked back up, and McCulloch gathered it. Leigh spreading it out, Pinner there, taken down in possession. Paul Groves coming in, smother tackle from Groves, bouncing Harry Pinner down. But it's Leigh now, moving it left. Ryan Dunn, ex-Wigan and Rochdale, prop forward there, plays it to himself. Goes forward, brought down 20 yards from Saints line and centre field. Johnson taking it right. Harry Pinner, quick ball there from Saints. Taking it over there again, Neil McCulloch, nearly in at the far right. Well, from the acting half-back, Leigh player going to dive in. It was the last tackle, so it's the changeover. But Saints back on their own line. Leigh penalised for an offence at the play the ball. Not being the requisite 5 yards at the play the ball, so that takes the pressure off Saints a bit. Good kick there, finds touch 5 yards from the halfway line. It's Paul Grove stepping up. Stuart Evans his right thigh heavily strapped. Evans, he's coming from strength to strength. On to Chris Arkwright now. Evans made his debut here at Hilton Park, Leigh, for the Saints in the Lancashire Cup first round clash earlier on in the season. Saints breaking away. Haggerty. Exit left to Mark Elia. Saints bursting back in good style there and moving it to the right. Phil Weavers linking up. Neil Holding. Loose pass from Holding. Saints gather it. Loughlin going for the corner. Must be a try here. Ledger. Comes inside Ledger. Yes, he's scored. Did well there, Barry Ledger. Going in at this right-hand corner.
My score for St. Helens was number 2, Barry Ledger.
Well, Barry Ledger going in for his try there. The ball from the far left. Haggerty bursting through, fed on to Elia, but the ball came crossfield. Looked like a loose pass there from Saints, but Loughlin gathered it. Took the Leigh defence on. Fed it to Barry Ledger. He did well. He had to come inside 2 Leigh players, but he touched down safely. He scored 3 against Hull midweek, and also the previous Friday scored 3 in the A team against Wigan A. So Barry Ledger there going over for his 5th try of the season. Difficult conversion kick for Dave Tanner right from the 25, 10 yards in from the touchline. It's nice to have 2 kickers on the Saints side, or 2 regular kickers I should say, with equal capabilities, but whereas we've going to have one from one side of the pitch, one from the other. Obviously leaves plenty of options open. So Dave Tanner now lining up. Looks good, yes. Just shaves the right hand upright and goes in.
By number 5, Dave Tanner.
Good conversion there for Dave Tanner. So Barry Ledger going over in the 2nd minute. Dave Tanner there with his 25th goal of the season. Saints 6-0 in the lead after being under pressure from the kick-off there, with Leigh nearly going over at one end and Saints hitting back in good style, coming back to the scoreboard end and banging the try over. Saints in possession. Chris Arkwright straightens up, just drives outside the 25. Paul Groves, as ever, takes the acting half-back position, brings it to the right. Quick ball onto Stuart Evans, coming from strength to strength. Evans, this ex-Neath Rugby Union prop forward. The ball back to Paul Loughlin. Crossfield diagonal kick, taken by Neil McCulloch, coming in field. Taken down at the first attempt there, solid tackling from Saints. Shane Cooper and Mark Elia in at time. New Zealand combination. Quick break there from the Leigh man. He fed on, was ruled forward I think by referee Simpson, but good quick play from the Leigh outfit. Brought down right on the Saints 25. Scrum with the Saints head and ball. Neil Holding to feed. Ball coming Saints side. Bring it to the right. Dave Tanner coming in field. Shane Cooper now. On to Chris Arkwright looking for the gap. Jeff Clark. Leigh Mowry forward quickly in there. Back with his 3rd spell at guesting at Leigh. Ball forward now, receiving some hefty attention from the Leigh tacklers, bringing him down right outside the 25. The ball back to Weavers. Lofty kick upfield. Yes, good kick from Weavers there. Chris Johnson looked as though he had all the time in the world. He turned round, the bounce of the ball beat him. Fines touch 10 yards from Leigh 25. Whether it's actually touched Johnson's hands, I don't know, but no, it's Phil Johnson with the ball. Leigh head and ball. Second scrum in quick succession. One against the head there. Neil Holding scoops it up, brings it to the right quickly. Weavers linking up onto Mark Elia. coming over to this right side. Quick hook there from Saints, one against the head. Viva's going on his own, releases the ball. Arkwright comes up, gathers that loose ball, just penetrates the lead 25. It's Mike Holliday and for Leigh, taking him down. The ball fed inside to Stuart Evans. Brought down centre field, 25 yards from the Leigh line. Roy Haggerty now, he'll take him on. Haggerty feeds inside to Tony Burke. Beavers, Saints spreading quickly, left. Mark Elia now, looking for the way through, straightens up, drives forward. Quick hands from Saints. Chris Arkwright, the ball comes back, onto Stuart Evans. Going to the left, Evans. Last tackle now for Saints of this set of 6. Forward dummy half. Brings it to Cooper. Lofted up and under from Cooper. Loose ball. Barry Ledger's up on it. Can't gather it. Unlucky Ledger following it up. From that up and under from Cooper. Phil Beavers just receiving treatment. Taking the knock in the tackle earlier on in that movement over here on the right. But Leigh received the penalty. Saints penalised for holding the man down. Had to play the ball. 8 minutes gone of the game and the score still 6 points to 0 in Saints' favour. Phil Johnson kicks for touch. Just finds touch outside his own 25. Mick Dean, the hooker, to restart. First man in, Brian Dunn. Drives forward, but Tony Burke, Farber and Evans in there to bundle him down. So Saints penalised for offside. At the line out, Phil Johnson going to gain further yardage for Leigh. Finds touch 5 yards inside the Saints half. So 2 quick penalties in succession by referee Simpson on the Saints. McCullough, captain half-back. Leigh moving it to the left. Harry Pinner not been much in the play in these opening 10 minutes, but he's always dangerous when he is. So split us open the last time we was here in the cup a couple of times. He's got to be up to his capabilities. He's certainly the ball handler. Well, there he is with the ball. Holding comes in, but he gets it away. Number 8, Dave Evans. He's brought down 10 yards short of the Saints 25. Referee Simpson lining the Saints up. Ball now with Jeff Clark over there to the right wing. Last tackle for Leigh. Ball now to Phil Johnson going back. He's still in possession. Yes. Manages to get his kick in and finds touch just inside the Saints 25. One noticeable absentee, Andy Platt. It's his third match of a 4-match ban received after being sent off here in the first round of the Rugby League Challenge Cup. Neil Olin to feed. Saints come away with the ball. Holding an Arkwright. Work the loop movement and Saints going. Mark Elia. Still going Mark Elia. Looking to go inside, but looked like a rather high tackle there from number 12, Jeff Clark. But eventually being penalised for using an elbow. Looked rather high in the first instance, but referee Simpson taking his time before coming in to award the penalty. Saints gain the further yardage and fine touch on the Leigh 25. Plan move here, Groves to start with Farber, Evans and Arkwright. The ball going out to Tony Burke. Just penetrates the Leigh 25. Groves again, Saints are putting it together. Taking it left, Cooper, Vivers linking up, runs ball onto Elia. Still going Elia. Tremendous pace off this international Kiwi centre. Quick play the ball from Saints. Moving it to the right, holding onto Chris Arkwright. Dummies with Haggerty, inside to Paul Loughlin. He's still going inside to Arkwright and he's over there. Good play from Saints there. Looks as though they just got bottled up for the minute, but Chris Arkwright goes over. Back after a lengthy injury, Chris Arkwright, but right back in the swing of it now. Goes over for his 5th try of the season. Extends Saints' lead to 10 points to 0. And another kick for David Tanner over at this side. A good play from Saints there, from the far left again. Mark Healy nearly going in, but the ball coming over here to the right. Over to Paul Loughlin. It looks as though he was held in the tattle. He was stood up in it. He managed to turn round, and Chris Arkwright in support gathered the ball and dove over the line. It's about 15 yards in from the touchline, just inside the 25. Dave Tanner just kicked one from a similar position. There he goes. Yes. No, just outside the far left-hand post. Just looks as though it was shaving in, but unsuccessful this time. So the score still 10 points to 0 in Saints' favour. Saints obviously got to keep at it. No relenting with this Leigh team. We know what they're capable of. Coming back, he was well in command at 21 points to about 10 or 14 in the Lancashire Cup tie. And Leigh coming back in good style, eventually running out winners by 27 points to 21. Well, from the kick-off there, Phil Johnson kicks the ball directly into touch, so it's a penalty right on the centre spot. Saints, if they wished, could go for goal, but Paul Loughlin getting the further yardage for touch. Good kick from Loughlin there. Splendid, well-positioned kick. Finds touch just inside the Leigh 25, so Saints back in command. Paul Groves to restart, on to Cooper. Evans, that moves on again, back to Cooper. Haggerty lurking down this right wing, but he can't gather it there, Haggerty. Always looking for that ball, Haggerty, but couldn't gather it this time. Leigh scoop up the loose ball, oh, beg your pardon. Saints back in possession. I thought Leigh had got that ball. Just out of my view here, but it sits right on Leigh 25, centre field. Groves holding, loop movement with Arkwright. Gets Paul Loughlin going. Loughlin looking hungry, certainly coming to the fore in the last few games. Really taking him on, Paul Loughlin. Obviously Alec Murphy urging him on. But it's Saints now, bringing it to the right. Neil Holding, lofted pass to Cooper. Did well, Cooper, takes the tackle, gets out of the first tackle by Dean, but runs into Clark and Brian Dunn. Neil Holding now. A little chip kick through. Taken by Chris Johnson, full back. Did well there, but Saints penalised. Far offside at that kick through. Well, I can well imagine, he must have took it behind his own line. So Leigh start with a 25-yard tap restart. McDean at dummy half. Leigh spreading to the right. Loose ball there, well knocked on, gathered by Saints. Quickly down there on that ball. Tony Burke. Arkwright again, getting them going, on to Groves, short ball to Holding, inside to Loughlin, lovely back pass to Loughlin. Loughlin keeps it moving, on to Evans, still going Evans, he's it inside now, Paul Farber, straightens up, drives towards the 25. Brilliant inter-passing work from the Saints there. Saints spreading it to the right, loop movement with Holding and Arkwright again. He'll take him on, Chris Arkwright, tremendous forward. Dean and Dunn take him down, and Groves now. Short ball on target here, back pass to Groves. Outrageous dummy from Groves, going for the line, still going Groves, brilliant try from Groves there. Individual try, Paul Groves. That the dummy half position, dummy to pass it to the left there. They all took the dummy, he headed towards the post, and Chris Johnson couldn't bring him down. I'll say it's certainly pounding this Leigh side now. Paul Groves, only his second try of the season that, but he's always there and about, and he's deadly from 25 yards out. That's a certainty. A fine buy earlier in the season from Salford. £40,000 signing from Salford, and certainly worth every penny of that fee. So Dave Tanner again. Similar position last time, but he was unsuccessful last time. Tanner looking to bang this over. Yes, no problem this time. 16 points to nil in St. Fair. Phil Johnson kicking off again. Directly into touch again. Well, this will do his confidence no good whatsoever. But St certainly punching holes in this Leigh defence now after a shaky couple of minutes right from the kick-off. But 16 points to nil in Saint's favour. Locklin again for touch on the Leigh 25, just outside. Saints take it to the left. Harbour now onto Cooper, onto Haggerty in space. Strong running Haggerty, flicks it inside to Locklin. Brilliant Saints putting it together today. Crisp into passing, and still keep it moving now. Chris Arkwright, obviously fresh and psyched up after last Wednesday's 64 points to 2 defeat over the whole team at Nosey Road. Holding now, sharp ball onto Evans, coming through from deep. Quickly taken, three-man Leigh tackle, bounce him to the ground, centre field, 15 yards from the Leigh try line. Holding again, going on his own. Leigh penalised. John Kerr being brought out for a kick taken at Neil Holding as he was going through the... Well, it was John Kerr that was involved with Neil Holding in that league match, the Lancashire Cup match, I beg your pardon, early in the season, where Neil Holding was put out of the game for 3 months with a broken jaw and a broken thumb. But Kerr being spoken to by referee Simpson. The penalty awarded right in front of the sticks. Paul Locklin with his first attempt at goal this afternoon. Both of the others fell on the right-hand side of the post. Dave Tanner taking them, but Paul Locklin steps up, bangs it over.
Number 3, Paul Locklin.
So Paul Locklin with his 71st goal of the season extends Saints' lead to 18 points to nil. And Phil Johnson again, he's going to have another go. See if he can keep it in field this time. Probably kick it to centre field. So well, he manages it the third attempt. Barry Ledger gathers the ball, comes in field, brought down on the 25. Dave Evans, one of the tacklers in there. Saints now spreading it to the left, keeping it alive, playing good open rugby. 18 points to nil and just halfway through this first half. Haggerty there gathers that ball, but Leigh tacklers quickly up there, snuff him out. Holding, lofted pass to Chris Arkwright. Good pass to Locklin, comes in field, runs right into Jeff Clark and Phil Johnson. Holding, rubbers through, not finding touch. Chris Johnson stops it with his foot, picks it up, brings it to the left, over to number 4, Ian Jeffrey. Doing well, Jeffrey, but Evans comes back, I think it is, hauls him down. Paul Locklin was there, but Evans did well, came back. It's Jeffrey, ex-rugby union centre, signed from Liverpool St Helens, I think. But it's Leigh with one of the first, or should I say, rare touches of the ball in this first half. Not had much possession at all, Leigh. McDean, dummy half. Leigh bringing it to the left. Harry Pinner looking for the loop movement. Feeds on to Jeff Clark now. Brought down on the Saints 25. Dean again. Taking it to the right. Pinner again. Looking to get the forwards going. Solid tackle there from Saints. Well, the referee Simpson stopping play. What he must consider a late tackle on Leigh captain Harry Pinner. Talking talking to Tony Burke there, I think it is. Yes, Tony Burke, referee Simpson having a word with him. Leigh awarded a penalty. Harry Pinner there receiving treatment just outside the Saints 25, centre field. Well, Shane Cooper there going in for 6 tries, equalling the Saints' individual try scoring record by Alf Ellaby, Steve Llewellyn, Tom Van Vollenhoven and Frank Myler. Those 6 tries were Cooper's first league tries this season. His other 2 tries coming in cup competitions. Saints finally running out winners 64 points to 2. It's just a pity he just couldn't get that other try to claim the scoring record, individual scoring record for himself. We're back now in play. It's Phil Johnson with the ball. Gains further yardage for Leigh. Kicks to the left corner as we're viewing now. Mick Dean to restart. On to Brian Dunn. Farber and Evans forcing back. Solid 2-man Saints tackle there. Up to Saints to keep this Leigh outfit at bay. Kerr. Quick ball on to Jeff Clark. Second row New Zealand forward. Dean again, but Saints tackling there. Holds firm. David Evans driving through, coming from deep. Well, 5 yards from the Saints try line now. And Leigh bringing it left. Harry Pinner trying to get him going. On to Brian Dunn. Looking to release the ball. Just can't get it. Solid tackling from Saints. Farber there. From acting half-back. Leigh driving forward. Brought down a couple of yards short. It's the last tackle now for Leigh. Well, a try being given. Obviously kicked it through, had to play the ball. Perhaps a plan move there from Leigh. But
for Leigh was number 9, Mick Dean.
Mick Dean from acting half-back and on the 6th tackle, kicked the ball through, followed it up, puts Leigh on the scoreboard now. 18 points to 4 at present with this conversion attempt from Craig Burrell. Just to the left of the posts. One of Leigh's excursions into the Saints 25. It paid off that time. Burrell stepping up. Yes, slots it right between the sticks.
And the conversion was by number 3, Craig Burrell.
So 6 points to Leigh, 18 points to Saints. And Saints beating Leigh in the first round of the Challenge Cup 22-12. The week after, Leeds were the visitors to Hilton Park here, and Leigh beat them out of sight. Then last week they played Swinton, the bottom club in the first division, did Leigh, and Swinton run out winners. So rather an unpredictable side, Leigh, but you can't give them any chance to get back in the game. Saints kick off. Leigh in their own 25, spreading it to the right. Quick hands from Leigh. Jeff Clark brought down right on the Saints 25, on the Leigh 25, I beg your pardon. Leigh taking it blind side, feeds inside to Mick Dean. But getting rather bottled up, the Leigh outfit now. Clark at dummy half, over to Harry Pinner, trying to get him going. Short ball there, onto number 10, Brian Dunn. Comes on to those short balls off Pinner there. The ball now coming back for the kick upfield. Chris Johnson. It went back to Phil Johnson, but he couldn't gather it. Phil Beavers does well there. Bravely goes down on that ball. David Tanner from acting half-back. But Leigh penalised for offside. Obviously Leigh wanted to get up there for a quick play of the ball as Saints had to get back. Phil Beavers stepping up for the penalty. Fines touch just 5 yards short of the Leigh 25. Leigh getting back there quickly and was in an offside position. Tony Burke. Groves Feeds it right onto Chris Arkwright. Drives upfield, centre field, straight running from Arkwright today. Groves. Neil Holding as the foil onto Farber. Another drive from Farber. Quickly back in the Saints first team after having a cartilage operation. Shows the competition for places here at the Saints. Haggerty keeps it going. Tony Burke comes well. Follows Haggerty up. Penalised there. Leigh, I think, for not allowing Burke to get up for the play of the ball, but the far side touch judge coming on. Tony Burke wanting to get up there for a quick play of the ball. The Leigh defender not allowing him to do so, so it's another penalty for Saints right in front of the sticks. It's number 11, he's having a word with Mike Holliday, one of the Holliday brothers. They both played for Swinton. This Mike Holliday, he signed for Leigh just before the cup deadline, and his brother Les joining Halifax. It's Paul Loughlin now going to have another bang for goal. Shouldn't be any problem for Loughlin. Right in front of the sticks. Saints wanting a quick play of the ball there. I don't think it was the linesman's intervention that came on. But Paul Loughlin bangs it over the 28 minutes of the first half. Loughlin slots over his 72nd goal of the season, his second of today's game, extending Saints' lead to 20 points to 6. A commanding lead for Saints, but they've still got to capitalise on it and improve it. Don't give this Leigh outfit any chance of getting back, because they are renowned for hitting back in good fashion. But he tries the opposite side there. Phil Johnson, Dave Tanner gathers it, comes in field. Saints spreading it to the right. Burke steaming forward, tremendous forward this Burke, well worthy of a place in Mal Riley's tour squad. Saints streaking away. Tremendous running. Holding still going. Runs back into it there. Neil Holding, Harry Pinner in there with Brian Dunn. Saints spreading it left. Quick hands. Haggerty looking to release. Does so to Beavers. Always eager and backing up Beavers. Gains a good 20 yards there, Beavers. And Saints still alive. Still keep it going. On to Evans. Driving in Evans. Jeff Clark and Dave Evans, I think, in there at the tackle. Tony Burke couldn't gather that ball. It goes to ground. Uncharacteristic mistake from Tony Burke. But it's going to be a scrum down just inside the Leigh half. Leigh head and ball. Saints cleaning up on the scrums. 3-2 nil at present. Phil Johnson to feed. Well, they get that one. Leigh come away with it. Plenty of hands. Look like a forward pass there onto Craig Burrell. But he's up there on the right wing. Burrell going crossfield. Harbour grabs him. He flings the ball inside. A loose ball. Saints scoop it up, and Saints are on the attack again. Evans coming over here to the right. Good ball onto Arkwright. Fends one off Arkwright, but coming back, mauling there, Brian Dunn with number 4, Ian Jeffrey. High ball. Groves, change of direction, comes blindside. Paul Loughlin now. That dummy half. Takes it to Shane Cooper. Well, the class, this Cooper. He just glides around this field, this rugby field. Tony Burke again. Coming on a deep run. The ball back to Neil Holding. Going to be pumped upfield. Johnson tries the fancy stuff, but doesn't come off. Turns round and gathers it. Going over there to his right. Runs into Tony Burke. And Roy Haggerty it is. Leigh play the ball quickly. Saints two props there, Evans and Burke, banging to the ground. Harry Pinner, bounce to the ground. No way through for him this time. Roy Haggerty, ex-second row pal when Pinner was at St Helens. But Leigh now going nowhere. Brought down 10 yards short of the halfway. McDean from acting half-back. Lofted pass out to Neil McCulloch. Beats one. Still going McCulloch. Beavers brings him down. Tremendous full-back Beavers. Tremendous last line of defence. Last tackle for Leigh. Harry Pinner trying to get him going. Quick hands onto Dunn. Lofted pass. Kicked into touch. Well, Leigh did well. They spread it quickly to the left. Neil McCulloch hurrying up that right wing. On the last tackle, the ball coming over here to the left side. Kicked into touch eventually. And it's Leigh head and ball with Phil Johnson to feed. Ball going against the head. Saints come up with it. Chris Arkwright from the base of the scrum. Good play there from Saints pack. Paul Groves doing well there, hooking that ball. Arkwright coming up with it. Evans now brought down on the 25. 7 minutes of this first half remaining. Saints with a 20 points to 6 lead. Roy Haggerty fends one off. Feeds it back to Groves, who spreads it quickly to the left. On to Tony Burke. Good Saints now holding from acting half-back. Makes the break. On to the left now. Dave Tanner down that left wing. Leigh cover well back. And McCulloch it'll be... and bangs him into touch, does well. Takes Dave Tanner down, but a good break from Neil Holding there. Beat 3 Leigh defenders, fed it to the left. Dave Tanner got caught. This McCulloch is a speedy winger, as he showed in this first half. Scrum down right on the Leigh 25. Leigh feed and Leigh come up with the ball. 4 scrums to 2 in Saints' favour. But Leigh in possession, just outside their own 25. Harry Pinner trying to get his forwards going. Saints tackling, really holding firm. Leigh with only 6 points on the board from that kick through at the last tackle at the play the ball. In the 24th minute. Harry Pinner now. Short ball onto Jeff Clark. Taken down by Paul Groves. Tony Burke in assistance. Dean again, spreading it left, Phil Johnson, inside to Brian Dunn, on to Harry Pinner. Short ball on there to Phil Johnson again, but he's taken down. Saw Farber there in his wake and went down in the tackle. Harry Pinner, the ball at Groves, came forward. Last tackle ruled. Last tackle ruled now for Leigh. Phil Johnson kicks upfield, but it's going to stop infield, no problem for Ledger. Gathers it safely. Comes infield Ledger over to the left. Taken down just inside the Saints 25. 5 minutes remaining of this first half. Haggerty now going over to the left. Ball comes inside to Cooper, beats one. Still going Cooper, brilliant footballer. On to Loughlin. Still going Loughlin, just held by the ankle there. Quick play the ball wanted, but the Leigh tackler comes in quickly. Groves in the loose again. Mark Elia coming over from the left, but Groves couldn't release the ball. Blindside onto Stuart Evans. Clark and Jeffrey take him down right in front of us here. Chris Arkwright. Looking for that half gap, Arkwright. Saints moving it to the left. Changing direction from Cooper onto Beavers. Grubbers through, diagonal kick. Not going to run into touch, but taken by Shane Horrow. Outpaces Beavers. Still going Horrow. Centre field, beats another. Still going. Finally brought down by Groves, I think it is. Yes, Paul Groves, Roy Haggerty and Farber coming in. Just giving the Leigh crowd a bit of something to cheer about there. Forward pass being ruled. I think he's ruled the second forward pass. Well, yes, the second forward pass. The two forward passes in that movement, in my opinion. The first one from Pinner looking really forward, but he ignored that and blew up for the second one. The scrum down 10 yards inside the Leigh half. Neil all into feed. Saints taking the scrums 4-2 at present. Saints in a 20 points to 6 lead, and 3 minutes remaining of the game. One against the head there. Leigh come up with the ball. Quick breakaway from Phil Johnson. So Leigh looking for points on the board before half-time. Pinner, short ball onto number 12, Jeff Clark, but he loses the ball. Saints come up with it. Phil Beavers pushes one off, brought down 10 yards short of the halfway. Chris Arkwright onto Evans. Driving towards the halfway line, Evans just brought down short. Mark Elia coming in field, looking for some action. Feeds it on to Tony Burke. Well, Dunn going in with a swinging arm. We've seen penalties being awarded there for less than that. Haggerty now, blind side. Take him on Haggerty. Feeds inside to Loughlin. Still going Loughlin, rangy lad. Number 8 for Leigh, David Evans coming in for the interception. But Groves, he's away again, Groves, on his own. Just couldn't beat Chris Johnson that time. Very lively in the loose, this lad. Saints taking it left, holding, still going. Feeds inside to Chris Arkwright, yes! Arkwright goes in for his second of the afternoon. Brilliant play from the Saints again. And all from that little man, Groves.
Number 13, Chris Arkwright.
Arkwright going over for his second of the afternoon. Groves there creating that opportunity to hurling through from the acting half-back position. Neil Olding took it on, did well, fed inside, and Arkwright in support again, and touches down just to the right of the sticks. Brilliant play from Saints there into passing and putting another nail in Leigh's coffin. Dave Tanner takes the kicks from the right hand side of the sticks here. 24 points to 6. Just a minute remaining of this first half. And Dave Tanner lining up. No. So Tanner stepping up. No problem for Tanner. Strikes it right between the sticks. His third goal of the afternoon. His 27th of the season. So 26 points to 6 in Saints' favour, and surely no way Leigh can come back into this game. Phil Johnson kicking off, keeps it up for centre field, while Loughlin gathers it safely. Drives towards the 25. Solidly tackling, holds firm. Well, there's the half-time hooter right on the 40th minute. No stoppage at all for any injury. So the half-time score is 26 points to the Saints, 6 to Leigh. Saints tries coming from Ledger, 2 from Chris Arkwright, 1 from Paul Groves, 3 Tanner goals and 2 Loughlin goals. Ultimate League clash, Leigh versus Saints. Saints going in with a commanding 26 points to 6 lead at half-time. No substitutions being made for each team, either team I should say, in the first half, and none at half-time. So, both teams as they were. Saints looking for points in the Stones Bitter Championship. They have games in hand on teams above them, but Widnes are top with 30 points from 18 games, and all points are needed to get up there. Paul Loughlin kicks off. Craig Burrell stops it with his foot, drives forward, but he knocks on. So Leigh putting themselves under pressure right from the kick-off. Neil Olding to feed. The ball coming straight through. Referee Simpson ordering the scrum down again. shot up, being ruled by Mick Dean, the Leigh hooker. So penalty going Saints' way. Differential penalty. Neil Holding quickly up there. He elects to kick for touch to gain further yardage. So right in the first minute. Play just being stopped while one of the Leigh players removes some rubbish from the field. Toilet rolls and such like. Groves feeds onto Burke. Solid tackling, Dave Evans in there for Leigh, brings him down. Groves now onto Evans, coming blindside. Saints want to get further points on the board early in this second half. Spread it to the right, Holding. Cooper onto Loughlin, coming on a diagonal run, crossfield. Taken down centre field, 20 yards from the Leigh line. Holding. Goes well, it's Cooper onto Burke. Still going Burke. Held up in the tattle. Over on the far right now. The Saints in possession. Haggerty going on his own. Always keen to get through, Haggerty. No way through for him this time. Saints going to spread it left. Arkwright straightens up, drives towards the Leigh line. Still going on all fours. Finally brought to a halt. Last tackle now for Saints. Groves brings it back to Farber. On to Cooper. Beavers does well, takes that ball, flicks it up to Holding. Still going Holding. But he loses it as he scampers through. Leigh fall on the loose ball. Leigh in possession in their own 25. Neil McCulloch now for Leigh. Taking it crossfield. Saints snatch the ball from the Leigh player's hand. It's Saints back on the attack. Roy Haggerty over to the right, feeds inside, does well there. Cooper backing up, he's all over this field. Cooper latches onto the end of any loose ball. Evans coming from deep, knocks the ball forward, kicks it dead, so a scrum down being ruled. 5 yards inside the Leigh 25. Leigh come up with the ball. Pinner trying to get his forwards going. Feeds onto Mike Holliday, but good tackle round the legs there, brings him to a halt. Onto Evans, Dave Evans, Cooper in there. Tremendous tackling stint from these Saints. Well, getting bogged up, Leigh, lacking in a little bit of idea. And the scrum half there, Phil Johnson trying to get through, but definitely lacking the Leigh team. Super tackle from Farber there, taps his ankles on Neil McCulloch. He's a speedy winger, this lad, but well, the ball going back to McCulloch. The tackle's being waved off this time. I think they just choose when they can wave them off. Sometimes it's a charge now. Well, Haggerty onto the end of that pinner pass. Well, there he goes, Roy Haggerty. It's the first time he's scored for quite a while, but it was Harry Pinner there trying to loft it out. Harry Pinner there trying to loft it out. He lofted it up, and Haggerty latched onto the end of it. Not scored for quite a while, as I say, Roy Haggerty, but that's his 5th try of the season, and Harry Pinner giving Saints another gift. For Dave Tammer, right in front of the sticks. Tanner there lining up centre field, right in front of the sticks, just 15 yards out. Yes, no problem. Bangs it right over. 32 points to 6. Saints making a substitution now. John Fieldhouse coming on for Paul Loughlin. So obviously Loughlin picked up an injury there, so I would imagine Roy Haggerty moving out into the centre spot now, and John Fieldhouse going into the pack. Puts Leigh kick off. Real deep kick from Leigh. Roy Haggerty stops it. Barry Ledger picks up, drives towards the 25. 6 minutes of the game gone now, and 32 points to 6. Saints in a commanding lead. The ball now brought to a halt just short of the 25 line. Stuart Evans flicks it back to Groves. Saints keep it moving onto Fieldhouse. He loses the ball. Knock on from the Leigh man there, unfortunately. Phil Johnson, I think it was, went in for that ball, but he couldn't gather it cleanly. He knocked on. John Fieldhouse, super tackle from Leigh there, coming in, and Fieldhouse losing the ball. Well, he's given Leigh feed. The ball coming with the feed, even though Phil Johnson didn't retire. But it's Leigh driving towards the Saints try line. Only scored one try in this game in the 24th minute of the first half. But it's Kerr trying to get his players going onto Pinner. Lofted pass from Pinner again. Onto number 4, Ian Jeffrey. Saints tackling, holding firm. Tremendous tackling display from the Saints, and attacking, as you can see by the 32 points scored. That's Leigh moving it to the right. Pinner again. With a short ball there onto Brian Dunn. It's about the 4th tackle for Leigh. Loop movement with Pinner, but the ball goes down. Evans kicks through, so it's all on. McCulloch gathering. Tanner goes in there with Mark Elia. Solid tackle in there from Saints. Bang him to the ground, really bounce him down. Got to bang them to the ground. We're playing a physical contact game here. It's no holds barred there, everything in, and get them to the ground. Mike Dean, finally brought down by Evans. Taking it left, Leigh. Harry Pinner now. On to Brian Dunn. Comes in field. They put Arkwright in there with Paul Farber, I think, yes. Bounce him down. Super tackle of this Arkwright. Short ball there onto number 11, Mike Holliday. The old infirmary pass there. Not much chance for Holliday. Leigh now. Back to number 7, Phil Johnson with a kick upfield. But it runs dead, so it's going to be a 25-yard restart. Tap restart for Saints. Paul Groves gets them going. On to Tony Burke, first man in. Leigh forwards forcing back this time. It's Tony Burke coming from deep, but forced back a couple of yards. Farber now. Builds up ahead of steam, drives forward. Brian Dunn finally allowing Farber up to play the ball. Haggerty tidies up. Keeps it moving onto Cooper, who in turn feeds onto Beavers. Saints always looking lively to release the ball. Groves again, must be in contention for the man of the match. Groves has been all over this field today. Good ball onto Fieldhouse. Holding did well, but comes off the Leigh man onto Neil McCulloch. So Leigh in possession, inside their own half, over to number 12, Jeff Clark. Phil Johnson coming round for the run around, trying to keep them moving. Over to the left. Solid tackle there from Farber. Bounces him to the ground. But the ball being released by Phil Johnson, going directly into touch. So it's a scrum down just inside the Saints half. Neil holding to feed. Leigh just edging on the scrums in the second half at present. Referee Simpson finally getting them back to his liking. Well, Saints penalised at the scrum. Paul Groves being spoken to by referee Simpson. received their first penalty of the second half. Finds touch right on the Saints 25. Like Dean, on to Dave Evans. Loses the ball, Saints on it, Farber's down on it. Very quickly, Paul Farber there. But the referee, well, I don't know what he's ruling there. He's a dragging movement, but...
Now a substitution on the Leigh side.
Leigh making a substitution now. The referee stopping play to allow Paddy Tumivave to come on, replacing Phil Johnson.
Number 7, Phil Johnson, is replaced by 14, Paddy Tumivave.
So I'd imagine now as John Kerr will move up to scrum half position, Paddy Tumivave to stand off. Saints come away with the ball from that scrum. Elia now, not had much running chances, does well, out to Dave Tanner, keeps in field, Tanner does well, Kerr in there, rather aggressive tackling from Kerr, right in front of us, looks as though he'd gone in with an elbow, but play allowed to go on. John Fieldhouse loses the ball, Saints gather it back, Stuart Evans has it, but the knock-on being ruled. Unlucky there, John Fieldhouse just not latching on to the end of these balls today, but he showed what he could do in the cup tie at Wilderspool Warrington when he latched on to 2 balls and scored 2 tries. But Saints come up with that ball there. Paddy Tumivave right in at the action on Shane Cooper, but it's Roy Haggerty now. Stands up, flicks the ball back, keeps it alive. Saints spreading it left. Quick hands. Fieldhouse comes back, gathers the ball. Quick hands needed by Beavers there, and he certainly just passed that ball on. Mark Elia coming away. Leigh moving up very quickly. 13 minutes. 13 minutes of the second half, and aggressive tackling going in there from number 2 this time. McCulloch. The ball kicked upfield. Chris Johnson gathers it safely. Going centre field. Chris Arkwright brings him down. He just ghosted back to Tony Burke, but didn't get past Arkwright. And now it's Jeff Clark, centre field, no way through for him. Shane Cooper quickly in there. Dave Evans releases the ball. Loose ball from Leigh, but the ball going back. Saints unable to capitalise on that loose ball this time. Dean onto Clark, bringing it over to the right. Neil Holding and Tony Burke complete the tackle. Dean again. Harry Pinner trying to get him going, but a super tackle there. Stuart Evans, smother tackle on Harry Pinner, bounces him to the ground. The ball coming up for the kick. Chris Johnson. Crossfield, but Dave Tanner well positioned, flicks it up into his hands, does well Tanner, brought down on the 25. Phil Beavers at acting half-back, going on his own Beavers. McCulloch coming in field, but it's Saints still in possession, but no further score, still 32 points to 6. Saints with just the one scoring on the board on this second half, the 4th minute Haggerty try and Tanner goal. Now Cooper onto Elia, but Beavers tidies up and kicks it into touch. Centre fielder, touch judge is on for an off the ball incident, obviously. The far side touch judge.
That's John McFarlane to see Mr. Harrison, the commercial manager, after the game. Thank you.
Stuart Evans, I think it is, down on the ground. No, it's no, Evans has his thigh heavily strapped. Just can't make out who it is. Roy Haggerty, I think. No, Haggerty stood there. I might get it right eventually. But Saints player injured there. Neil Holding it is. Neil Holding down there receiving treatment from Saints physio Tim Deakin. The far side touch judge came on. The referee there seen to Neil Holding 10 yards inside the Saints half. But obviously somebody on the Leigh side going to be spoken to. Number 9, Mick Dean, Lee Hooker being brought out. Holding received a terrible injury here in the first round of the Lancashire Cup, as I said before. Broken jaw and thumb. But Dean looks as though he's being sent off from the pitch completely. So Dean sent off from the field of play for the rest of this game. Neil Holding, Neil Holding having to come off, very groggy there, obviously receiving some treatment. Well, you can see from this lad here, he doesn't know where he is. Certainly been on the wrong end of some treatment here, Neil Holding, against this Leigh team. Well, they're taking him straight into the dressing room. And Bernard Dwyer coming on as a substitution for Neil Holding. Leigh are down to 12 men, but that's sending off a Dean. It was John Kerr that did him last time. Did Neil Holding, but Weaver steps up for the penalty. Finds touch. Just short of the Leigh 25. And Leigh look as though they're going to go out and try and mix it now. 17 minutes of the second half gone. 32 points to 6 in Saints' favour. Well, it's up to Saints to calm down, let the ball do the work, let the rugby do the talking, and Stuart Evans driving upfield, just penetrating the Leigh 25. Cooper onto Beavers, linking up inside to Arkelia, but Cooper tidies up. Knock on being ruled. Well, I thought the ball had come back. If it hadn't come back, it definitely touched the Leigh player, but knock on being ruled. And a scrum down with Kerr to feed. Saints doing well, push Leigh off the ball that time. Saints moving it to the right. Mark Elia. Push, possible running chance for Elia, going in for the far corner. Brought down Paddy Tumavavi over there. But it's Saints in possession. Leigh man snatches the ball, I think. Knock on being ruled. The Leigh man moving in very quickly there. Up to play the ball. Looks as though he'd gathered that loose ball. But he must have knocked on in the act, and a scrum down being ruled by referee Simpson. Shane Cooper at scrum half now. The Saints shoot the ball. Still going Saints. 20 yards from the Leigh try line. Groves, Bernard Dwyer, Cooper onto Dwyer. But Leigh tackling holds firm this time. Groves coming for the loop movement with Cooper, gets the ball, comes back in field, still going Groves. Definitely in contention for the Saints man of the match, but we only hear the Leigh man of the match here picked here. Up to the supporters to form their own opinion. Arkwright gives the dummy, feeds on. Tony Burke, yes! Tony Burke there ghosting in on the end of that Chris Arkwright pass. So 19 minutes of the second half. Saints extend the lead.
Try scorer for St Helens was number 8,
Tony Burke, one of Burke's rare try scoring efforts. Already scored 3 before today, so he goes in for his 4th. Extends Saints' lead to 36 points to 6. And Saints certainly in rampant form. That's a cup tie at Salford next Sunday. So Dave Tanner with the conversion attempt. Played well, Tanner kicked 4 today. So there's Tanner lining up. Yes, looks good there. Good kick from Tanner. slots it over, 38 points to 6. Slotting his 5th goal of the afternoon, his 29th of the season over, 38 points to 6. Saints in a commanding lead halfway through the second half. Mark Elia gathers that ball coming crossfield. Looking to have a run, not had many running chances, Elia. Stuart Evans coming from deep. Groves again, that's a dummy half. Gives the dummy, feeds onto Farber, straightens up, drives forward Farber. Saints, the lead, 2 props, Evans and Dunn bring him down. Farber finally gets up to play the ball. Cooper keeping him going. On to Stuart Evans. Solid 3-man lead tackle this time. But very lax display from this Leigh outfit. Groves with a little chip kick through. Loose ball. Leigh come up with it. Beavers completes the tackle. Number 4 it was that time. Ian Jeffrey with that ball. Well, Chris Johnson kicks upfield. I don't know what his idea is there, but he's lost Leigh possession. Puts it back in possession. Dave Tanner going crossfield, but Craig Burrell comes across, follows his man, bangs him down, centre field. And Stuart Evans coming away from the acting half-back position, tries to drive forward. Leigh move up very quickly. Fieldhouse now. Saints hero at Wilderspool, 2 tries. John Fieldhouse came back after a lot of niggly knee injuries this season. But Roy Haggerty, good pass on to Beavers, inside to Mark Elia. Just a bit bottled up there, but he feeds inside to Haggerty. Back to Dave Tanner. Saints keep it alive. Cooper, brilliant into passing. Cooper ghosting through. Support on his right, but solid tackling there. Hold him out, hold firm this time, bang him to the ground. Arkwright spreads it right, onto Groves. Ball onto Bernard Dwyer. Bernard Dwyer, very limited first team appearances this season. He's on the transfer list at £30,000 at his own request. The ball coming crossfield to Beavers, who kicks for touch. Yes, it's going to run. Good kick from Beavers there. McCulloch turned round, he couldn't gather that ball. Whether he actually got a foot to it or not, I don't know, but it outpaced him, goes into touch, putting Leigh back on the rack and relieving the pressure from the Saints. It's, yes, Leigh, head and ball with Kerr to feed. Saints win it against the head. Arkwright. Beavers on his outside, brought down centre field, 25 yards from the Leigh try line, onto Mark Elia. Feeds up to Haggerty, does well there. Haggerty still going, lofts it out to Bernard Dwyer. Brought down just a yard or so short of the Leigh try line. Paddy Tumivavi kicks it through, it goes into touch. That's going to be a scrum down, 5 yards from the Leigh line. The Saints in the league, they've played 15, they've won 10, 5 losses, 3-5-6-4, 2-0-9 against and 20 points. They're in 5th position. Leigh have played 3 games more, they've played 18 with only won 7, 14 points, and they're in 10th position. But it's Saints come up with the ball. Eager to get further points on the board. Already leading by 38 points to 6. Bringing it left at Fieldhouse onto Elia. The ball going down, Tanner tidies up. Elia there, he's been well bottled up today by Burrell and McCulloch. They couldn't gather that ball, it went to ground. Dave Tanner fell on the loose ball, but it's John Kerr to feed, it's Leigh head and ball. Leigh get the ball this time. Saints defenders quickly up there. Saints penalised for offside. Have to play the ball, and much to the delight of the Leigh fans. From Paddy to Mavavi. Gains the added yardage for touch. Finds touch, 5 yards short of the halfway. Jeff Clark now to start off. Goes on his own. brought down right on the halfway line. 14 minutes of the second half remaining, plus injury time for that injury to Neil Holding. But it's Leigh still in possession. Not looking to have much idea. Harry Pinner now trying to get him going. Short ball there off Pinner. Yes, number 4, Ian Jeffrey. Well, as we say, who'd be a commentator? I'm saying there about Leigh not having much idea. And Harry Pinner there fed a lovely ball onto Ian Jeffrey. And they completely outpaced the Saints defence, touching down right under the sticks. He's always been the danger man, Harry Pinner. He can bring a lovely ball, bring you onto a lovely ball. He certainly has done this season when the Saints have played Leigh. They did it that time. And Burrell converts the Jeffrey try. So 12 points to Leigh, 38 to Saints. Phil Johnson coming back on as a replacement to the goal scorer there, Craig Burrell. But Leigh still down to 12 men. Just coming back in the game a little there, but 13 minutes of the game remaining. 38 points to 12. Barry Ledger kicks off. Saints follow up. Tattle the Leigh man just outside his own 25. And Kerr now feeds it inside to Harry Pinner. Bernard Dwyer has him this time. Kerr again at dummy half. Short ball there. Onto Holiday. I think it's it's Brian Dunn. Brian Dunn in possession. Phil Johnson attacked in half-back. Short ball onto Clark. Runs into John Fieldhouse and Paul Groves. Leigh moving it left. Solid tattle there. Bernard Dwyer well in with the shoulder. Brings the Leigh man to a halt. Ball coming back for the kick, I think. Phil Johnson, little chip kick through. Vevers gathers it safely. McCulloch comes in. Vevers plays it onto Tanner. Does well, Tanner. He slipped, but feeds it onto Shane Cooper. Going crossfield. Into Haggerty. Change of direction. Diagonal run from Haggerty. Bounces off one. Feeds it onto Evans. Onto Burke. The ball still going. Burke. Yes, it's touched the Leigh man, so Saints back with a further 6 tackles. Arkwright. Fieldhouse. Onto... runs into Jeff Clark. Just couldn't think of the man's name then. But Mark Healer attacked in half-back and Saints moving it to the right. Bernard Dwyer sees the gap, tries to scoot through, but Harry Pinner stops his gap and Gallop and Brian Dunn there with him. No, Evans it was. Beavers onto Elia. Unlucky Elia, just losing his footing as he comes through. Jeff Clark completes the tackle. Cooper now with the ball for Saints. Grubber kick through, Cooper picks it up. Feeds it back. Onto Roy Haggerty, still going. Well, brilliant this Cooper. Saints keep the ball alive. Vevers. Lofted pass to Evans. Turns round, still going Evans. Out to Dave Tanner. Solid tackling from Leigh. They did well. They came back in the cover defence. The change over. And John Fieldhouse brings down John Kerr. It's Leigh in possession now, in their own 25. Harry Pinner trying to get them going. I mustn't say anything else about Leigh not looking as though they've any idea. It's the ball back now to Phil Johnson. Kicks upfield. Barry Ledger coming infield to gather it. Phil Vevers with him, but Ledger coming crossfield. Super tackle there. Paddy Tumivavi comes in and completes the tackle. Cooper on to Stuart Evans. Just coming into his own, Evans. Really getting into the game now. He said himself it's going to be a season for him to get in the swing of things, but he's certainly enjoying his rugby here at St Helens. Cooper keeps it going, but Saints just getting a bit bottled up there. Leigh moving up very quickly as Saints bring the ball to the left. Beavers lining up here, the Saints. Short ball to Farber, tries to release it. Dave Tanner gathers the loose ball, but a forward pass ruled. Farber looking to release that ball, it caught the Leigh man. It looks as though it caught the Leigh man, but a forward pass being ruled. It's going to be Leigh. A Leigh feed with Phil Johnson back at the scrum half position. The ball coming out the Leigh side. Leigh making the break very quickly. Three-man tackle from Saints in there. Beavers, Arkwright. Two of them. Harry Pinner trying to get his forwards going on to substitute forward. Ivor Owen. Leigh keep the ball alive. Harry Pinner now. Bounce down 10 yards from the Saints 25. 8 minutes of the game remaining. 38 points to 12 in Saints' favour. Short ball onto Jeff Clark. Lofts it back in field. On to number 4, Ian Jeffrey, who kicks for touch. Finds touch right on the Saints 25. Shane Cooper now with the feed. Saints tidying up on the scrums, 7-4 this second half. And penalised for feeding at that scrum. So Leigh with the penalty. Phil Johnson for the added yardage. Forcing the Saints back towards their own line. Jeff Clark to restart. Ivor Owen coming in. Drops the ball. Freshman just come on and couldn't gather that ball. Good ball there from Clark. So it's Saints feed again. Shane Cooper. Alright this time. Beavers linking up with him. Beavers coming in field to Bernard Dwyer. In space. Saints on the attack. Lofted pass to Dave Tanner. Tommy Varvey with him. Tommy Varvey brings him down on the 25. Good tackle from this man. This Auckland player. But Saints now. Arkwright. Inside to Cooper. Inside to Fieldhouse. Going in unopposed by the sticks. Brilliant play from Saints there.
The try scorer for St. Helens was number 15,
John Fieldhouse. Going in for the try just to the left of the sticks. His 4th try of the season. And good interpassing there from Saints when it looked dead here on the far right in the Saints own 25. They won the scrum. They swooped upfield. Dave Tanner just brought down on the 25. It was fed infield and quick hands from Saints. John Fieldhouse latching on the final pass. He's been very unlucky with John Fieldhouse with injuries. Nasty series of leg injuries since moving to St Helens in an exchange deal which saw Harry Pinner go to Widnes before he came here, just before the cup deadline, but he latched onto the end of that and took it over just to the left of the sticks. So Dave Tanner lining up again, right in front of the sticks. Shouldn't have any problem. Slots it over right between the uprights. 44 points to 12 now.
After awarded by Kelvin Limited is number 4, Ian Jeffrey.
So Dave Tanner kicking his 6th of the afternoon, bringing his season's total up to 30. Saints 44, Leigh 12. 5 minutes remaining plus any injury time. Barry Ledger gathers that ball from the kick-off, straightens up, brought down just outside the Saints 25. Paul Groves stepping up, acting half-back, short ball onto Farber. Saints again want to get back up at this end quickly. Burke forcing players out of the way, pushed Phil Johnson off there, but number 4, Ian Jeffrey, finally bringing him down. Haggerty now sees the gap, forces forward. Good run of this Haggerty, flicks the ball back, taken by Paul Farber onto Phil Beavers, over there to the right. Beavers, Ledger on his outside. Well, a forward pass being ruled by referee Simpson. He was the only one that saw it, obviously. There was no cries from this crowd. Not even from the Leigh spectators, so it's a scrum down with Leigh feed, but Saints come away with the ball. Back on the attack. Barry Ledger brought down on his hands and knees, gets up, gains another yard or so, but it's Saints still in possession. Dwyer, crossfield, quick hands, onto Fieldhouse, does well, inside to Phil Beavers, onto Roy Haggerty. Forward pass being ruled again from Beavers to Haggerty. Saints with an overlap here on the left.
Central Catering, today's match sponsors, have also
and a scrum down
awarded
midway between the halfway line and the Leigh 25.
Number 12, Jeff Clark.
Leigh win the ball from the scrum. 9 scrums to 5 in Saints' favour in this second half. Leigh down to 12 men from the 16th minute of the second half, with the scrum, the hooker Dean being sent off for an off-the-ball tackle on Neil Holding, but Leigh keep the ball alive, or try to. Number 4 there in possession, Ian Jeffrey, runs right into Stuart Evans. McCulloch at dummy half, onto Kerr. Leigh moving it to the left. Harry Pinner still in possession, which is always feeding onto Clark, but a loose ball. Farber feeds onto Groves. Groves going over to the right, straightening up Groves. Looking for the gap, always alert in the loose, Groves, and Saints have certainly put it together this afternoon. Haggerty, off 1 foot, charged down by the Leigh man, knock on. Phil Johnson there, always keen to Haggerty to keep this ball alive, but he flicked it out there. Phil Johnson went for the interception, it was knocked to the ground, so it was a scrum down. Cooper to feed. Saints win it. Beavers links up inside to Mark Elia, straightening up. Cooper now acting half-back. Saints moving it to the right. John Fieldhouse, lofted pass there, well taken by Farber. Lofted pass again to Ledger. Ledger going in for the corner, still going Barry Ledger. Started the Saints off with a try in the second minute, and Saints there in possession, bringing it to the left. Fieldhouse. The ball coming cross field, taken by Cooper. Quick hands, Arkwright, Beavers. Taken down by Phil Johnson, and Neil McCulloch coming in field. But Saints still looking very lively. To Chris Arkwright, well taken by Cooper. Last tackle now for Saints. Only had one changeover, I think, in the whole game. Oh, a late tackle there by Owen on the Saints player. Very late tackle, and the man's laying prostrate on the ground. But it's Leigh in possession. I thought it was Tommy Barvey coming crossfield. Yes, it was, I think. No, it was Horrow. One of his rare touches, but Leigh in possession. Loose ball. Onto McCulloch. Tanner taps his ankles. Burke completes the tackle. It's Leigh still in possession. Barry Ledger now back on his feet. He's the one taken by that late tackle. But the Leigh man down here injured, under the new ruling. A player can take the ball off him, player can restart while the injured player receives treatment. So it's Harry Pinner now. Feeds inside to John Kerr. Siding through, diagonal run, Kerr. So Leigh down to 11 men at present, with the injured man down here on the touchline. Well, we've played 40 minutes of the second half. We're now actually in injury time. That injury to Neil Holding, but it's Dave Evans with the ball taken down by Tony Burke. Chris Arkwright, Chris Johnson at dummy half. Scampering through, tries to kick through, loose ball, Evans gathers it. Keeps it moving, onto Mark Elia. Can his pace take him through? Yes, he's done it, Elia, down this touchline. Goes in, 10 yards infield. Super try from Saints. Right in the 40th minute. Mark Elia has looked dangerous all afternoon, but he's been well shepherded by Burrell and McCulloch. But Elia goes in there for his try. That's his 14th try of the season. Extends Saints' lead to 48 points. Good try there from Elia. Quick break from Saints, show what they're capable of. And Elia, with very little space to work, it must be said, as Chris Johnson was coming in field, but he outpaced him and touchdown 10 yards in from the touchline. So David Tanner from 10 yards in, see if we can get the half century up. 48 points to 12. Saints certainly putting it together now in the league and the cup. They've definitely peaked at the right time. So Tanner now lining up. Looks good. Yes, comes in field. Brilliant kick from Tanner. Gets the half century. 50 points to 12. There's the final hooter. So Saints running out 50 points to 12 winners. Brilliant win for the Saints. First half points coming from tries by Ledger, Arkwright, Groves, and another Arkwright try. 26 points to 6 at the break. Saints hitting back early in the second half. A 4th minute Roy Haggerty try, but a brilliant all-round team performance from the Saints today, certainly carrying on where they left off midweek in that 64 points to 2 thrashing of Hull. Anyway, thanks once again for joining us. So on behalf of Micron Video, myself, Ron Hoof, your commentator, your cameraman Brian Pears, we bid you a farewell from Hilton Park, and we hope you'll be joining us at the Willows at Salford for next Sunday's Silk Cut Challenge Cup 3rd round tie versus Salford. All right, this time Beavers linking up with him. Beavers coming in field to Bernard Dwyer in space. Saints on the attack. Lofted pass to Dave Tanner. Tommy Varvey with him. Tommy Varvey brings him down on the 25. Good tackle from this man, this Auckland player. But Saints now. Arkwright inside to Cooper, inside to Fieldhouse, going in unopposed by the sticks. Brilliant play from Saints there.
The try scorer for St John's was number 15,
John Fieldhouse.